Hi guys, Vita here and this is Hippie Crow Hub. Welcome to my channel. Today we're doing a little bit of a thrift flip. One of my most popular videos on the channel are about thrift flip or upcycling or sewing. So I'm gonna do a little more today. To be honest, I already did my sewing at this point, but I woke up today and it was rainy, it was gloomy, and I didn't want to be in a camera, so I avoided showing myself while I was sewing, but I did film the sewing process. It's just mostly you see my arms in the content. So now I finally did my yoga, I had a shower, so I'm daring to step in front of the lens. I did 3 upcycle projects. Very simple, very easy. It's kind of like problem solving thing happening. So you're gonna see it. I'm gonna explain everything. I'm gonna try to show as much details about it. For some of you that are already experienced upcyclers and sewists, it might be like, oh, I don't really need to see the details. I can see what's done. Great, good for you. But some people still might want to know what I did to the project. So I'm going to share as much as I possibly can. Alrighty, let's take a look. Thrift, flip, and problem solving by upcycling. So let's go. 3 projects. All of these items are thrifted. This blazer, top, tablecloth, this sweater, and curtain. So this jacket I thrifted. It's very lovely. It's vintage, but I noticed there was a stain and I tried to remove it and it didn't work. I made it even worse. So at this point, I can't really resell it. So we're gonna turn it into a crop blazer. It's already short sleeved, so it's gonna just become a very cute top. This little top, I thought it was very cute. It was absolutely new and clean, but it's not vintage and it doesn't really have a label. Possibly it's handmade, I don't know, but I want to add something to it. So I'm going to add extra layers in the bottom. This sweater, it just feels really stiff and tight for me. Also, I have a rip in the underarm. So I thought I'll do something with it. I have this curtain too that I bought because I loved the pattern. So I'm going to remove all the ends off this sweater. And I'm going to add extra fabric on the sides and in the front to make a pocket. Okay, let's start cutting. We will start with the blazer. The main thing is to align it really well. Also pull the inside layer up because the last thing you want is having that underline, the lining shriveling up your item. So this jacket is already lined, so I'm just following the fabric lines to cut it straight. And this might become useful for something else at some point, so I'll keep it. And making sure I align the sides very well. Okay, so we are going to cut all of the ends because we want to change the shape of the sweater and the sleeves too and the neckline. Also, what I'm doing here, I'm just adding little decorations, kind of like adding distressed fabric kind of vibes. Since this sweater didn't see enough stress in its life, I thought we will add some to it. And because I already had a rip, I thought seam ripping will be easy, but actually it wasn't at all. It was such a stubborn work, so I kind of wished I just cut it, but I committed to it, so I wanted to get it done. And I know a lot of you will say, where's your seam ripper? I do have one. I just don't use it. I find this method a lot more comfortable. And now that the sides are opened, we are going to measure the amount of fabric we are going to need for it. I'm just removing the necessary part. So I also just realized I like that blue side more than the actual good side of the fabric, because I feel like the blue goes better with the gray. And so I cut these 2 lines, but I left them longer than what it needs to be so that I can cut it off after I do the sewing, just to make sure it fits perfectly. And even though this is the wrong side of the fabric, it just somehow became the right one for me. So I'm cutting out this rectangle shape, and now I'm going to shape it into like the pocket shape that I want. So I'm going to sew the top and the bottom and the little sides, and that will become like a one pocket. Now moving on to the top dress. So I have this tablecloth that, of course, I need to figure out which side I'm going to cut. So one of the ends are already have the original finishing. So I'm going to take advantage of that and I use it. I pin the fabric together because I'm cutting like 4 layers in one shot to make sure that it cuts straight and it doesn't slide around. So I cut 2 lines of fabric about the same size. One I'm going to attach to the bottom directly, but first I need to do an overlock on all the edges, because lately I prefer doing a single fold for the finishing instead of a double fold. So I prefer using overlock machine to go over all of the edges and then just do a single fold and do a running stitch over it. It just makes it easier. Then the fabric is a lot thinner and the finishing is a lot more soft. And yeah, that's why I have to go over it all around. So now I changed to the running stitch sewing machine. So I'm going to single fold the areas that needs to be complete before I attach that pocket to the sweater. And before I sew the sides, I'm going to sew the pocket because it will be easier to get access to the sleeves. So here, just sewing on the bottom and the top. So that's pretty simple, but it was such an effective little change. And now doing the running stitch for the blazer and the bottom. That is such a simple and effective upcycle. It is a great way to change up your item. You can do that to any blazer, even trim the sleeves. Okay, now this top dress, because I want some gathering happening here in the bottom, and I always pin like the center, the sides, and then I keep pinning it to kind of evenly distribute the fabric. So now this fabric is already been complete with the overlock on the top, so I'm not doing any foldings at this point. I'm literally just placing the fabric and sewing it with a running stitch. So it's going to look like this fabric is coming kind of from the underneath the original finishing of the top, but because I'm adding a second layer above this line, you won't be able to see this line of stitching at all. And the gathering always takes a little bit of time. And the other line of fabric was not complete in the bottom, so I had to do a single fold on the bottom. So now this, as you can see, there's like the fabric is coming from underneath. So this one, I'm doing it different way. I'm pinning it upwards, and then when I finish my sewing, and when I bring the fabric down, it will look like it's fluffing up outwards kind of thing. So then the edges will stay underneath the fold. There is no strict rule of how you do this. You can do however way you think works best for you, but I decided to do it this way. And here we are. Okay, so now I have to complete the sides of the sweater. So I pulled out the overlock again because I want to use overlock to connect the sides. So the sweater is inside out so that the stitches remain on the inside of the sweater. So I'm removing the leftover fabric, and that curtain fabric was fraying quite a lot, so I decided to go over it with a running stitch after I did the overlock, just in case. I'm that kind of just in case person. So there is the running stitch to secure the items. It only took me extra couple of minutes, so I figured why not? It's better to do that, better safe than sorry, instead of going out wearing it and then ending up with like holes on the sides, which wouldn't be fun. So yeah, and the sleeves, I did the overlock all the way around and the bottoms, and then I'm just doing a single fold for the sleeves and for the bottom of the shirt. I could have left it completely just cut, but that type of fabric twirls up a little bit and I didn't want that, so I decided to do this instead. And there it is. Now that we completed the projects, it's time to show the final results. I think all three projects was a success. Like I said, it's mainly about problem solving, and I already explained to you by now why I decided to do these things to these items. So I'm just gonna show you. I'm gonna get my assistant to help me to do the fitting for two of the items because they are smaller size. So it doesn't actually fit me. Okay, this lovely long top dress, I think it is very cute. Yeah, I definitely cannot fit this, and it seems like Susanna has gained some weight too. I'm kidding. Hello? Can anyone fit in this? Oh, there you go. This is a zipper. Good to know. Okay, so as you can tell, this is a very small item. But for a lovely, small little human, this will be very cute. So there you go, the two layers. I think this has become a lot more fun and not as standard. And it's just a fun way to change up your clothes. And I love that this is double layered. And there's these splits in the front. So I kind of imagine it being worn on top of shorts or on top of trousers as a long top. But again, if the person is a lot smaller than me, which would have to be, this would still be a decent length of the dress or long top, however way that you want to wear it. So yeah, very simple, very easy. The other item, this. Okay, I love cropped jackets, and I'm gonna try to put this on me, but it's really snug, so I don't know if I'm gonna fit. So for me, okay, so visually it looks good, but I wouldn't wear it because it feels too restricting. It like just fits me like to the, I usually don't wear clothes this tight. So, but I can imagine this being very cute and looking really nice for someone just a little bit smaller than me. And even as a summer set, look at that. I mean, this blazer was already very lovely, but unfortunately it had the damage. But even though sometimes things are damaged, they can still last you a lot longer if you do tiny changes to it. And it looks like a completely different thing. I actually like this as a set. Cute. Okay, so a third item, this. Now I'm gonna put this on. This is my personal thing. I really like the Spice Girls thing, but like I said, there was a rip and it didn't seem to fit me comfortably. I mean, technically it was my size, but I just didn't like that it was so like restricting, and I really wanted it to be bigger. Okay, I'm wearing this today for a rainy day with jeans and Converse. Hello! Totally love this little flared crop situation happening. The sides is like you get that little sneak peek of like a fun pattern. This is a great way to resize clothes. There was someone at some point a long time ago asked me in the comments if I would consider making a video about resizing like tops, making it bigger or smaller. So there you go. This is a perfect way to do it. And you know, this was such a good idea. Actually, I didn't plan to do this color this way. This is the correct side of the fabric. This. But as I was making it, it was last minute, like change my mind thing. I love the fact that I flipped it the other way. I love more of the blue. This feels more of like the planetary kind of like patterns. Because the other way, the beige and the gray was just making me feel a little bit too sad. Because I was saying before that the gray is just getting to my nerves. So this worked out really, really good. I love this too. It just like gives a little like kind of fun. What do you think? Let me know. Alrighty, enough of like twirling around here. Oh, I didn't show the back. Here it is. Now I really like this top. It was really starting to feel like I want to either get rid of it or just not wear it, and I was like, but it's good. I don't like, there are some things I like about it, but there you go. Alrighty, yo. Okay, last video I asked people to let me know where are you watching from, and a lot of people commented all sorts of different countries. It's so much fun to actually read a comment and imagine that people are watching my videos from so many different countries. There was Austria, Australia, Canada, US, Mexico, Germany, where else did I hear? New Zealand. From the top of my head, there was so many countries that came into the comment list. So hello to everyone, and thank you so much for engaging. It's helping me a lot to boost my content forward when I get some comments. So do go ahead, let me know what you think. I'm here to chat, ask me questions, make suggestions, whatever you feel like, freedom of speech. And have a lovely week. Stay creative, love and peace, and I hope you liked the video. Mwah! Bye!